Oh, we're recording today. No pressure.
Now that I've remembered how to do it and got it sorted.
Okay, I've got to say I'm happy to be recorded.
Oh, Veronica Mall. That's nice.
You look very lovely today, Renee.
I look so professional. I got out of my pajamas.
Just put on a jumper because it's so cold.
Alicia, I'm making you co-host.
Okay.
And Renee and I pinned. Hi guys. Renee and I pinned in the.
I can never tell because I do it on my phone. So do speak of you.
You are pinned. I can see both of you. Just
awesome. Thank you.
If you don't know, only because I recorded a Zoom recently where we had two screens, the recording might not show both of you. So
okay. Who am I talking with? Is this Tammy?
It is Tammy.
Oh, awesome. Hi, Tammy. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't matter. It's just for the beginning part where I'm trying to say hi and, you know, they've got watching somebody. Yeah, it just gets a bit messy. So I thought if we could pin both of us.
I can definitely see both of you on speaker view.
Interestingly enough, it says that it's recording both me and you, Michelle, but not Renee. So I don't know if that means it'll just show.
No, everyone gets a recording message when they join.
No, I mean, like if you go to the participants, it says recording me and then recording you, but I don't know if that's going to be an issue.
That's just because you and I are co-hosts.
Oh, okay. That's all good.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our dough workshop today. It's fantastic here. We've got beautiful, beautiful blue shiny clouds and sky, and it's just really a gorgeous day. So we are loving seeing you all in the afternoons, and I'm hoping that you're getting a lot of inspiration and tips and tricks in your journey. So we are very excited to be visiting Renee in her kitchen this afternoon, and Renee is going to tell us all about cinnamon buns, and I know she makes a really mean as cinnamon bun. So thanks so much, enjoy, and yeah, again, we love questions, we wanted interaction, so pop your questions in the chat box, and let's start by saying hi, and where are you from?
Hello, everybody. So yes, my name is Renee. I am from East Auckland in New Zealand. So this is day 9 of lockdown for us. I'm feeling a little bit crazy. You're the first people I've seen outside of this house in 9 whole days. So I apologize if I'm overly excited to see you today. I have 3 kids and a husband in my little house. So yeah, it's getting very interesting, but I'm very excited to show you how to do apple scrolls today. I am keen to know, so if you learned something new during this workshop today, can you please put it in the comments and tell me what it was that you learned? It really helps me with my training of people, and it really helps too with engagement, because otherwise I feel like I'm standing here talking to myself. So I'd love to know what you learned that's new today, and if you've got something new to share with me, share it. I'd love to see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make apple scrolls today, and this is Odette's recipe. So she's Thermodette on Facebook or Instagram. She's very clever. I'm pretty sure she's a vampire because she never sleeps. I always see posts from her saying it's 11:59 and I've just remembered I've got to cook something for tomorrow. So this is one of her amazing recipes, and it's really easy. So what we're going to do to start off with is make pizza dough. So it's literally your pizza dough recipe on cookie dough. So we'll do this really quickly, and then the filling is the amazing part, and that we will do manually. So if you're not confident with manual cooking, hopefully we can share some tips today and get you doing your manual cooking. Then your whole world opens up once you can cook anything in your Thermomix, whether it's on cookie dough or not. Some of my favorite things to cook have been marshmallows and lots of amazing things. So anyway, we'll get started. Pizza dough. So we do not need to grease our bowl today because we're not going to prove the dough. We're going to use it straight away. So that's awesome. We can make the dough really quickly and then get straight into making our scrolls. So 220 grams of lukewarm water. Now I just want to check and make sure you know the different ways that you can weigh. So if you didn't want to pour straight into your bowl, you can of course just use any kind of dish. And as long as you tear it off and you can pour it in, I've already pre-weighed this, so I won't do it. Yeah, you can measure anything. This is really good if you overpour things. So when I make risotto, I always overpour wine, which it still turns out though. And if you're cooking with kids, it's really good to get them to measure this way and then you can tip it in after. So 220 grams of lukewarm water. So I'll pop that in.
Not over measuring wine is a problem when you're making risotto, Renee.
Well, then it cuts into what you can drink afterwards. So talking about scales too, I just want to check so you know that there's two ways you can access your scales. Obviously, you can press the three dots there and bring up scales, or you can just bring up scales by hitting your home screen, going to your modes and bringing up your scales there. But I'll just go back to my recipe. So we're going to go next. A teaspoon of sugar. It is optional, but I'm so putting it in. And go next. Yeast.
Chucking in the sugar in also helps with activating your yeast as well. It eats it.
That's awesome. Because I heard that salt did the same thing. Is that right?
No, salt does the opposite. It kills yeast.
Wow, there we go. When I put this yeast in, I'm going to put it around the bowl in the water. If I dumped it straight on the top, it's just not going to be activating as well. So I put it nicely around the outside rather than dumping it on top of the blades. 2 teaspoons of yeast, pop it on there. So for 20 seconds, it's going to mix on speed 2. Now, that noisy? No. So I have a question for you. It's a very, very, very serious question. When you were little, did you dream of having your own cooking show? Or is it just me? And have I always been destined for this moment? See, there's a little bit of the lockdown crazy coming out.
We can see you've been alone in your home for too long.
So, okay, all right, moving right along. So baker's flour, hopefully you know that that's great, high-grade flour. So we're going to pop that in there. Oh, I am going to tear it and just make sure that my pre-measuring was correct. So 400 grams of that. Woo! We're actually doing much better than I expected because I've made a batch of scrolls already as a little test. And I knew I should have put a tray underneath and it's dripped sugar onto my bottom of my oven. And so my house is filled with smoke. So my husband's on smoke detector alarm, like to kill the button. If that goes off, I think we're okay. But 30 grams of oil. I'm going to show you something. Now, I'm not sure if I learned this and then forgot it and then relearned it. So bear with me. So you know you've got your measuring cup. So 50 mils or 100 mils. Now in the TM6 measuring cup, now put this in if you did not know this, that little section in there is actually a tablespoon. So I've like weighed it, sorted it out. It's a 20 mil tablespoon. So in Australia, you didn't know that, Michelle?
No, I didn't know that either.
Yes, such good new tip.
Oh! So I'm pretty sure that I didn't know this and then relearn it. And yes, so anyway, it's 20 mils. So in Australia, the tablespoons are 20 mils. In New Zealand and everywhere else in the world, it's 15 mils. Is that right? Yeah, for a tablespoon.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's 20 mils or 15 mils. I've never had a problem with my cooking.
A lot of people are saying thanks for that tip, Renee. They're saying thanks for that tip. They did not know that. Good,
okay,
good
30
tip.
grams of oil. We're going to tip it in here. You've actually put my mind at ease, because I thought I was crazy, and I thought maybe I did know it, and then forgot, but
You
clearly I
still could
didn't.
be crazy, but that's okay. We're all a bit
Good.
crazy. Right?
There's a healthy dose of crazy is good. A teaspoon of salt. Okay, we're going to put our lid on here.
Have you made cinnamon scrolls with any other types of dough?
No. Have
No,
I?
you
No.
haven't?
This is my favorite. When I get something that's really, really good, I'm really, really loyal.
I love it.
Now, so we're meeting for 2 minutes here. Now, in the workshop I attended yesterday, Mama Chen said to add an extra minute. So did you know that you can actually add while it's cooking? Now, I can't do this upside down. Hang on. So we're going to need for 3 minutes. Why not? We can. So we'll do that. And what I'll talk to you about now is the fact that you never want to leave your machine when it's kneading, because it moves around. So when you're making butter, which I love making butter, it moves a lot. In fact, when it's like really moving, that's when it's ready, when it's tuned. When you're chopping, you want to stay with the machine, and when you're kneading. The only times I've actually seen a Thermomix fall off the bench is when we've had a slider underneath. So these are sliders here, and they're not endorsed by Fulgurt, but I really like my slider. So I know that I have to stay with my machine, because I don't want it to fall off. But yeah, it just protects my scales. So I think most people that have a Thermomix, if you reckon I'm wrong, Michelle, have a slider. But it is about making sure your Thermomix is safe. And the safest way to use it is directly on your bench.
Absolutely.
But still got
I've made cinnamon buns using the brioche dough, the easy brioche dough, not the complicated one. And that also works quite nice. But I think it can be a little bit more iffy to work with. I think the pizza dough one is just straight and simple and no fail.
I'm the same. I use the brioche burger bun recipe for mine. That's pretty good on cookie dough as well. But I'm going to definitely try the pizza dough one.
Now, someone has a job. Someone really has to help me, because when we move out of cookie dough, so cookie dough tells me what to do, which is great, but we're going to make the filling manually. And I tell you what, I often put all the ingredients in and then go to the steps and realize I was only meant to put a couple of ingredients in and then do the steps. So whose job is it going to be to remind me not to just dump everything in? Make it your job, Alicia.
Yeah, go on.
I remember doing that in the workshop once when we were doing it, and we were making choux pastry, and it was one of my first classes, and I was so nervous, and I was given the sheet and not to show people manual, and I just added everything at the one time, and then I'm like, oh, and one of the customers were like, I think you needed to wait a little bit. It was so embarrassing, but you get so used to cookie dough telling you step by step. It's so beautiful.
That is so true. So my dough is ready. So this is so awesome and versatile, the pizza dough. Very, very yummy. Really good to work with. A really good tip when you're getting dough out of your bowl, if it's a really sticky dough, I don't find this is a sticky dough. This is just lovely. You can use turbo for a second, and just it'll fling your dough around the side and just make it really easy to get out. La, la, la. So for our scrolls, we want to have, oh my goodness, I'm really sorry if you don't have 2 bowls. Bowls is so awesome. I'm going to clean that one later. So we only want half of this batch of pizza dough. So that's pretty cool. So my kids are really fussy. They don't like these apple scrolls. So I do half apple scrolls, and I do Vegemite and cheese, the other one, just to keep it really simple for them. So I'm just gonna cut this in half. Now, I'm not the flashiest at rolling, I'm not gonna lie to you. I believe in rustic cooking. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So we just want to roll this out into a rectangle. So because you don't need it. Yes, Michelle?
I was just going to say, Renee, you shared about other options that you put in your cinnamon scroll. So I was going to ask our participants to pop in the chat. What kind of fillings would you be making with your, if you were making cinnamon skulls, what kind of fillings would you put in there? See what.
I'm just going to be here pretending to be really professional and really good at rolling dough. This is from the mix shop. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. And it really helps get the rectangular shape. Now, in terms of the other thing that's quite good is if you wanted to use the other half of your dough for pizza for dinner, that's what I'm doing tonight. The mats are really good for proving your dough. And also the thermoservers, if you just oil that up a little bit and popped your dough into there, they just, I love using them to prove. Now, hang on, it's proof, isn't it? P-R-O-O-F.
Yep. All proof, P-R-O-V-E.
I feel like it's just whatever kind of mood you're in, if you want to proof your dough or prove your dough. I don't know which one's right.
I've got some great responses here to other fillings. Cheese and garlic.
Oh, yum.
And spinach. That appeals to me. Nutella and walnuts. Oh, Tammy, yum. My boys would want to come and eat yours.
What about that
spinach and bacon.
That spinach pesto you made at our last team meeting, you could put that in them.
That would be nice, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a spinach one.
Does that look rectangular to you, everybody?
Yep.
We're happy?
It does.
Okay, all right. So this is the recipe. So this is where it gets a little bit dangerous. So Alicia, do your job.
Yep, manual, don't chuck everything in the bowl.
So I'm going to go into my home screen. So now we're not in Cookie Dough, we're like going to manually do things. So my first instruction is to place sugar, butter and cinnamon into the Thermomix bowl. So I have got 60 grams of sugar, butter. Let's weigh it just to make sure. 60 grams of butter. Michelle, we're going to share this recipe. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, for the whole of the 2 weeks that we've had these dough workshops, I will email you recipes, the tips and hints and tricks that we've been sharing. It'll all come, as well as Sylvia's recordings. It just needs to get uploaded onto the YouTube channel. So what's that you're popping in? The brown sugar?
40 grams of brown sugar. So you can write this down if you want to make them immediately after this workshop.
Alicia can be typing it in the chat for us.
So 40 grams of soft brown sugar and cinnamon. So it's a teaspoon of cinnamon. I've done room temperature butter, which actually means that I need way less time, which is quite cool. So my next instruction is to mix it for 10 seconds on speed 5. So if I just go into my home screen, 10 seconds. Ooh, can I show you another trick? Get ready. Tell me if it's something you didn't know already. So I can do 10 seconds. Say I accidentally did like 10 minutes. I can just hold the button there to make it 0. I quite like that. But anyway, 10 seconds. Hang on, was it 10 seconds? We definitely don't need 10 seconds, but anyway. I can't do that upside down. 5, speed 5. So we're just making a paste. With our sugar, our butter. See, I can hear that that's already mixed. So I'll show you what it's done. Butter, sugar, cinnamon.
So you're just making a nice paste there. Yeah.
A lovely paste. So I'm just going to spread this on now. I actually do you have a favorite spatula? Like I've got, let me show you. I've got so
I was
many
just envying that green spatula that
this
you
is
have.
the Alice Alexander spatula, which is quite good, but it's quite chunky. This is just Farmers. This is on the mix shop, little skinny
Love
one.
that one.
But this, honestly, this is the Team Essentials one. It's the one I always reach for. This is a bit stiff though, so I'm just going to use my actual proper spatula.
I like the ones from the mix shop. They'd be my favorite ones.
And I think everybody's just different in the way that they cook. And that's definitely the one that I always reach for. Look, I can even do this. Okay, so I'm spreading this on.
Oh,
I've got
that
a
looks
whole
so
40
good.
minutes, right? So I can just stand here when we're done with these scrolls, because we're nearly done, and I'm just going to talk to you and make you stay online and talk to me for a whole 40 minutes.
If you're a cinnamon scroll connoisseur, the other thing you can do instead of the way
You
you've
better
mixed
not
it,
be like ruining my thunder.
Yes.
Okay, no, I'm listening.
is melt your butter, and then melt it on, and then eyeball the sugar and cinnamon on top. So I'm very hefty with my cinnamon, so I take it straight from the packet, and I will melt the butter and put that on with a pastry brush, and then I will grab handfuls of brown sugar, pat it on the top, and then put my brown sugar, sprinkle it lovingly on top as well.
These are really sickly sweet.
Yes.
So for this particular recipe, you'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so our next instruction, Alicia, is we have to place the apple into the bowl. Now, I'm going to just cut this over here for a second, because I didn't want it to be too brown. We are going to put the whole apple, so the pips and the core and everything in. And then we're going to use our turbo. Who uses turbo, and what do you use it for? Tell me.
Tell us in the chat. What do you use turbo for?
So we know how to get to turbo. We just scroll, touch turbo. Turbo is like your supersonic speed. So I mentioned that you can use it to clean the dough off your blades. We are going to annihilate this apple so that no child, if they actually like your apple scrolls, will notice that there's pips or anything in there. So 1 second. We're going to do this. And actually, I don't even need 3 times, because I can tell that that's not doing anything. And I've got to press home to get out of there. Look at what that has done.
There's some good responses, Renee. So Diane uses her turbo to mince meat.
Yes.
Cassandra to clean the dough off the blades.
Yeah.
And Diane for making cater for breakfast. Now I can't remember what this is. Is it coconut, almond? I can't remember what it is.
Coconut, almonds, dates, and apple.
Apple. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. So good. Hey, people, whilst I've got you on here and you're being so wonderfully active in the chat, give us some ideas for our next week's, because let's face it, we're going to be meeting next week at 4 o'clock, I guess. Give us some ideas for next week's workshops, please. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Cool. So our next instruction.
Oh, curries are good.
A handful of walnuts in. Sorry, you're going to tell us something, Alicia?
No. Someone just said as an idea for our courses next week to do curries.
Oh,
I love making curries. Ditto.
Cool. So we've got a handful of walnuts now. We're going to blitz that on turbo. I keep losing my lid. Here it is. I found it. So turbo. And it's 0.5 of a second. So remember, when you're using turbo, you always want to, less is always more. So you can always blitz it more, but you can't blitz it less. So I have made this before, and it was a walnut paste. But if you've got fussy kids and you want to hide the walnuts in, that's perfect. But we don't. We want a bit of texture for us. So 0.5 of a second, and we'll. Oh, and let's see. Home. Did I press home? Yeah. And obviously, if you want it a bit finer, you can keep going and blitz it a tiny bit more. I'm just going to tip that on there.
I love that you're using the same bowl to do everything. So the apple and cinnamon, the apple and cinnamon and butter is all going to get like mixed in with everything that you've got there. Yum.
And to be honest, I could have used my dough bowl, because it's only
The
going
dough
on.
bowl's very clean. Yeah.
Cool. So
I've done that before, just added everything into my dough bowl with the little bits of dough as well. I'm like, that's okay. They'll all cook in the process.
Little speckled goodness throughout.
A little bit of crunch.
Yeah.
Sous vide is a great idea I'm seeing in the chat box, but sous vide, guys, is like an hour and a half. It's yeah, well, maybe we could get around it. But thanks for the
Pre-sous vide everything.
Now this is Odette's tip, and I love this. She cuts the scroll and then rolls it up. So she does them individually. So if you are not a pro like me, she just does voila. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'll eat that.
That's impressive. You are a pro. You're pretending all this time.
Oh,
and she's
this
got
is a good
two
idea.
ways of cooking her
Good
scrolls.
idea.
I wish I'd tried this first in my test run. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong screen. So I have greased this, but I'm going to pop these in here.
Is that a silicone tray or is it no, that's a hard tray, isn't it?
Just a normal
Muffin tin.
Muffin tin, yeah.
I've never thought of doing that. I've always done mine in like a
Alicia
big
learned
oven
something
tin.
new.
I've never done that either.
The
I
other
love
thing I
that.
like to use when I'm rolling, so I do it mine the other way. I roll it into a big log and cut it. But I love the Thermomat that you can use the silicone mat to help guide with the measurements along the bottom to make sure you're getting even amounts of dough, so you don't end up with little ones and big ones and end up cooking them unevenly. But yeah.
I like the little ones and the big ones because sometimes I feel like a little one and sometimes I feel like a big one. But that's my story, okay? I'm sticking to it.
They're all looking pretty even.
They're looking good, but there's your little one there waiting for you on the end.
And it's got no...
Yeah.
You need to
That
add
can
some...
be Logan's son. That's my husband.
No, he needs a nice one. He's looking after the kids and he's doing a great job.
He is. So look at them. Yes, they are a little tiny bit uneven, but that's okay. I'm going to put them in the oven. So that's going into the oven at 200 degrees for about 20 minutes. Now, here are the disaster ones that nearly burnt down our house a bit earlier. So this is another way you can pop them into your, or another way that you can cook them. I like this way because it ends up, I don't know, I don't want to wreck my laptop. Can you see the juice?
Yes,
We
I
eat them,
love that.
and we mop up the juice. And that's why you don't need any extra sugar or anything in these. Cinnamon would be okay. I'll let you have cinnamon
so good.
later.
But you need to put a liner in because it does trickle out.
Put a liner, and put a tray underneath before you put it in your oven because it may leak. But that's mine, and this is Odette's. Can you see? She's way more professional than me, but that's okay. They still taste the same, I'm sure. Yeah, so those are the scrolls.
Do you put a vanilla icing? Oh, sorry.
Sorry?
Do you do a vanilla icing to be extra naughty? I mean, I suppose you don't need them with the apple and walnuts on there, do you?
No. So the Cinnabon bombs?
Yep, Cinnabon.
On silicone, I know, on cookie dough. Yes, no, I haven't actually made those because I would end up eating the whole lot myself. So therein lies the problem.
Can you cut one of them in half so we can see the texture of the actual bun? That would be really cool.
This is another little thing that maybe Michelle can send out. And this is Alice's little guide for how to cook manually. So this is a really quick cheat sheet. I like to keep this on hand. If you want to melt butter, I don't know, minced garlic, it's got quite a few like handy things on there. I just keep it on my fridge. So maybe Michelle can send one of these out to you just to help you if you're not as confident with manual cooking. But yeah, so we want
to the top of my Thermo Cooking Live page.
Sorry, what's that?
I think I've actually pinned that guide to the top of my page in
so maybe
Thermo
you can
Cooking
put
Live.
your page on. Yeah, I've got to find the most perfect one. Cool, so we can see that. And that means I need a knife. I can use this one. hang on, no, that's not what I do.
They're still warm. They've just come out the oven.
Oh, they came out just as we were starting. So there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Those very
Mopped
yum.
up with the juice. So my husband and I both get a batch to eat today. Oh, you don't want to.
Or you could put
later.
some in the freezer for next week, Renee.
I could. And actually, our microwave has broken. So this has forced me to use the reheat mode. Does anyone use the reheat mode? Oh my word. It is amazing. Nope, you don't need to ask them. Definitely not. You can. You can if you want to. But they're so good as they are.
If we were to ice them, what icing recipe would you suggest if people wanted to ice them?
I have a good one.
Yep.
If you got one, Renee?
No, because I had so much sugar. I try and put as little sugar on things as I can.
Oh, you're good.
Let me find
So
you
if
and
you
try
want
and pin.
real...
Wait. Let me find you and try and pin you so that people can see. Spotlight.
My hands are all
There
sticky.
we go. Have we got both of you now? There we go.
So if you want a really good vanilla icing, so it's quite a runny icing that goes on your cinnamon scrolls, I use one that is 2 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter melted, and then a teaspoon of vanilla. I prefer vanilla paste or vanilla bean because it gives it a real nice vanilla-y taste, but extract will work just as well. And then between 2 and 3 tablespoons of milk, and you just want to add the milk in a tablespoon at a time and then mix it all. You can put that all into your Thermomix, to be fair. I do mine by hand, but yeah, just do a mix it at like speed 4 and do a tablespoon at a time, because you also don't want it to be too runny. And you also want, so once your cinnamon scrolls have come out of the oven, leave them for about 5 minutes and then pour the glaze over the top. And you really only need one because they are so sweet and good. But yeah, that's the recipe that I use.
Alicia, I challenge you to make these and ice one.
Yeah, I make them. So we're doing low carb at the moment, but I have a friend who hasn't got a Thermomix yet, but her husband keeps asking for cinnamon scrolls. So I made a batch last week and left them at my letterbox for them to grab. But yes, I will try and make them out of the pizza dough.
Cool. Well,
thank you, Diane. I see Diane's popped an icing recipe from Cookie Doo into the chat box for everyone. And I'll just remind everyone, we used the pizza dough, the mighty dough, as Mama Chen reminded us yesterday, as our base for the scrolls today. We topped it with chopped apples and firstly we did sugar, butter and
cinnamon,
and then we chopped up an apple and some walnuts, spread that on top, rolled them out and popped them into a muffin tin, which I think is just the best idea to keep the shape, I guess. Yeah, pop them in the oven. How long are they in the oven for? Is it about 15 minutes?
15 to 20 minutes. So mine are needing about 20, maybe because it's winter-ish. I don't know.
Lovely, fantastic. Thank you so much.
I was going to say, for your spices and stuff, if any of you are closer to like Taiping or Safeway, is it? Any of your Asian supermarkets, go there for your cinnamon. So the amount that you can spend on, so what I think you spend $2 at a supermarket and get a tiny box, you can get like 3 or 4 times that amount at your local Asian supermarket. They're really, really good.
Showing us how to reheat here, Renee, because you were starting to talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is the reheat mode? So it's literally it's missing. No, it's called warm up. So it is very cool. So if you go into your warm up, you put your food in it. So curry, because if we like curry, you pop it in there and you walk away and it reheats. So I'm actually doing fine without my microwave. and the microwave's a pain anyway. You got to stir it and check that it's hot. Whereas this, it gives you instructions. So you can press the I and it tells you exactly, it gives you a guide, like if it's baby food or it's a liter of food, it gives you a guide of what temperature to cook it to, that I can jump out there. So yeah, you just set the how many degrees and let it go. And then it'll stop when it's hot enough. I'm a big fan.
The reheat function is amazing for any cream-based sauces as well, because if you put things in the oven or in the microwave a day later.
Have we lost her?
Is that me or her? That might
I
be.
think we lost Alicia. I agree, because I did stroganoff, and this is, I mean, so much better than in a pot or in a microwave. It just was literally as yum as it was when I cooked it. So the other thing which is really interesting to know is that I know quite a few people that steam their pizza.
Using the aroma.
Yeah. So I reckon I might try that tomorrow and try steaming these little babies and see how that goes, because I do like my food hot. But yeah.
My friend Sue went in her caravan, and for the week that she was away, she refused to buy any food and she refused to use any other mode of cooking. And she didn't need to. Her Thermomix did everything for her, and she reheated her pizza by using the Varoma. Thanks for that. Thanks for that tip. Oh, yes, no, that function is not available, Kathy, on the TM5. And the reason is the blades, it's a function on the 6, and the blades don't move. And if they do move, they move very slowly and very occasionally, which is where the major difference is between the two machines. So yeah. Now tomorrow we're going to be learning, I'm going to be teaching you how to make gnocchi. I am certainly not an expert. It's just something I like and my kids love to eat. So we're going to make some homemade gnocchi and come with some sauce ideas, because I could do with some ideas. And now what we're going to ask you to do is, Renee mentioned at the beginning, please, your future is definitely in a cooking program. Renee, we can do it. We can do it.
Oh, who is that? Janet, right.
Janet.
I'll find your email. I'm going to stalk you now. You can be my first subscriber.
Renee, what's your Facebook and Instagram handle so people can follow you?
It is Renee Newshma, Thermomix consultant. Nice and easy.
It is.
Except my name is hard to spell.
Shall I write it down?
But I'm only on Facebook.
Renee Newshma hyphen Thermomix consultant. And we've also got Alicia is rolling with the stones.
NZ.
Oh, oops, NZ.
Yeah.
Please, guys, Renee asked for some feedback about 1 or 2 tips that you've picked up. So before you log off, please pop in the comments if you've picked up a tip, what you enjoyed most about today. We love seeing you at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it's a great time to have a brain break, a cup of tea, and join us for our cooking show. See you tomorrow where we make some gnocchi together. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Have a great rest of your day.
I just reckon these would be way too sweet with icing. I don't know. That's my opinion.
A glass of water would sort that out.
Oh, I was going to do a little showcase of all the things I've been making.
We still got some people on. They can watch.
It's like
Who's
the
my
Marvel
friend?
movies where
Nina.
the credits come up and then a couple minutes later you get a little sneak peek of something else.
Yes. The boys
Nina,
often tell me we can't leave now. We
no.
can't leave now. What you got there?
Look. Oh my word. I'm actually thinking about opening up a fudge shop. I am so professional. Look at this. It's ridiculous. It's not
Wow.
much left.
Is that Russian fudge?
Is it, what kind of fudge is that?
Is that Russian fudge? Yum.
Salted caramel fudge by pressing salt on the top. So I made my own condensed milk. I know you do that all the time, Michelle, but and we made lolly cake. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I think that would be a cool class to do, like your condensed milk, your like your pantry staples, condensed milk, mayonnaise. What's the one that I see Bex doing all the time? Brown sugar. That blew my mind when I saw that. Like that
That's a
kind of
good
stuff would be
one.
cool.
But that would like literally, yeah, that would be one. Yeah, we could do that.
There's
Definitely.
still actually quite a few people on.
I make
thought it was on
confit
my own.
garlic. I confit
Okay.
garlic on the weekend, and then I made a confit garlic aioli, and I kid you not, it is all gone. So I have to make more,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
been what, 5 days.
As
Yeah,
I've still got an audience, I'm bringing more stuff out of my
We've still got
Oh, my
81
word.
people on.
You're going to have to leave, or I'm going to stay here for the whole rest of the day.
She's
and
got
just
the
get
bug
to it.
now.
This doesn't look that impressive, but oh my word, this is
What is it?
Michelle's pasta sauce.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh. It's so
Oh
good,
my
isn't
goodness,
it?
I licked it. I licked the bowl.
When I
And
made
I licked
that,
out all the sugar. But I'm thinking maybe next time I need just a tablespoon of sugar, of brown sugar. I don't know. It's still good without sugar.
I always put sugar in when I cook with tomato because it cuts the acidity.
I
But
know, I know.
I am a bit heavy-handed with the sugar. So
8
I accept
grams
full
of sugar,
responsibility.
though. That was quite a lot. This is my condensed milk, but it won't come out because it's so wonderful.
Wow.
And I want to find a fudge recipe that's more crumbly. Like I don't like creamy fudge. I hate creamy fudge. I like it when you
okay,
bite
all right.
into it and
Yep, I
it
know
breaks
what you mean.
into pieces.
I think that's got something to do with the sugar stages.
So you might
With
need
yeah.
fudge
you might
making
need to make it
class.
by hand.
Let's make a
Um,
fudge making class. We'll each make 3 different types of fudge one day.
Oh,
I want
dibs the keto
Bailey
fudge.
infused.
The keto fudge, is there such a thing?
Oh, if there is, I'll be able to find it.
Oh dear. All right. Let me get my
What's in that little container there that you've got, Renee, right in front of you? What's that one?
Cheese.
Oh, just cheese.
Grated cheese.
Did you
Don't
make that?
you just love grating cheese in your Thermomix?
Yes.
What fudge recipe was that, Renee, that came out so beautifully? Because it did look good.
So it is a recipe community one. Caramel fudge.
Fudge in the recipe community.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's very similar to the white chocolate fudge recipe on Cookie Dough. The methods look very similar, but I'm never making this again, ever.
Also, Liba asked how you made the lolly cake. Was that a recipe from Cookie Dough as well?
Sorry, who asked?
I think, is it Liba or Liba? Sorry.
Liba? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. So this is a recipe community one. I'm a bit of
Limba.
a stalker. Before I make anything, I read all the reviews. Yeah, and so just lolly cake on recipe community. This is the one where someone put a review and it said, because the texture changes. So if you're going to use your Thermomix to like grind the biscuits, it's obviously a lot finer. It makes the lolly cake a bit darker. So one of the comments was my husband prefers it hand bashed, which I'm a little bit, I think I do too. And my kids won't eat this because I've changed the texture a bit. So my husband and I, because each kid wanted to make a batch, had 2 batches of lolly cake that we now have to eat.
Could you not just change the settings on your Thermomix to have it like
No.
3
See, I read
reverse?
the other comments, and the other comments said people have tried putting it on reverse and mixing it for less, but it still does a really fine crumb. Do you know, my husband made, this is why I have this beautiful rolling pin. My husband bashed my last rolling pin making lolly cake, the biscuits, and dented it, like dents everywhere.
My son used my old rolling pin as a hammer, so I had nice indents in it. So we've got a new one. That one from the shop's amazing.
Lovely rolling pin instead. So, but what you could do is you could bash it by hand and then continue on with the recipe. But I did love the convenience of putting it in the